Hi, this is Raven. This video was requested by subscriber Man Hours, and it was off the back of another tutorial I did where you could refuel at a helipad. So basically they wanted the same thing, but they wanted to add a switch so that they could add this switch into the mission as a part of it, which sounds like a good idea. Um, so I've got that laid out, and this layout is obviously just for demo purposes. I'll just quickly go through the layout and then I'll show you it working. So the little valve down here I've found in the props. It's quite cool. Actually works really well. So this is like a midsection with a valve, and then I've just put some ground. They're basically like ends that go in the ground on the end. But there are other bits of pipe work, so you can do something more elaborate. I've got two triggers here, and that's just, I've also created some sound clips, so when we turn the valve on and when we turn it off, there's two different sound clips which you'll hear later. We've got some triggers over here. So this trigger, I've called it instant fuel. So this is just like the previous tutorial, so where you drive or fly into it, you'll instantly get full fuel. That trigger over there is based on the default fuel system. So when you drive or fly into it, it will gradually fill up. And then I've put a trigger in between the helipads just so I know where it is. And all that does is set the fuel to half, just so I can keep showing you in the demo. So if and I've just used some trucks because it's just quicker for demo purposes rather than using a helicopter flying in and out. So if I open up the instant fuel, so this bit here is exactly the same as the previous tutorial. So it's just basically saying when blue 4 are present, so that's this, when blue 4 are present, set the fuel to 1, which means full for anything in that trigger. And we've also got here and valve active. So I'll go over that in a sec. So there's two things that are required to activate this trigger, whereas before it was just the blue 4 present. Okay, so that's, if we go over to the valve, that valve active is in here. So I've got two add actions. So add an action, and we've called the action turn on the fuel, and then we've created a trigger within it, valve active equals true, and I've added another add action, turn off the fuel, and it's valve active false. So trigger true, trigger false. The only other thing you need to sort of just be aware of is this 2 here. So that is the distance away from the valve that the add actions will pop up. Because obviously if you don't tie this down, it works on line of sight, so you could potentially see the add actions from miles away, which obviously spoils the ambience. So that's that. And to get the default fuel working, so if I open up the default trigger, so it's just basically the same condition as the other trigger. So blue 4 present and valve active. On activation, we got fuel truck, enable simulation true, on deactivation, enable simulation false. So what you do is you stick the fuel truck in the middle, and then if we open up the fuel truck, I'll do it over here so I don't pick anything else up. So I've obviously just called it fuel truck because that's what we've called it in the trigger. I think as you drop the fuel truck in out of the bits over here, I think it's those three that are enabled by default. So basically untick everything. So we don't want to show the model, and we don't want the simulation because we're going to control the simulation, which is what we're doing in the trigger. And damage is just a safe bet, just in case anything glitches. You don't want it just to blow up because there's a car on top of it. So that's that. And I think that's it. I'll show you it working. And then what I'll do is pack the whole mission up and put it on my Dropbox, and you can download the whole mission and play with it that way. Right, let's see it working. So this one's the instant one, so I'll just show you it's not working. So you see the fuel on the top left there. We've got, you know, less than quarter of a tank. Go in, and it's not filling up. So we'll get out, and we'll go and turn the fuel on. So see there, the add actions come up. So turn on the fuel. There's that sound clip I did for turning it on. Get back into the driver. And there we go, we've got full fuel. And what we'll do is we'll turn it off, and I'll show you that we can stop it working as well. So turn it off. And that was the sound clip for turning it off. So I've got to drive, so I've got full fuel, I've got to drive in the middle to get it to half. So there's it half. So now when I drive in here, it shouldn't fill up. There you go. And then the same with the default fuel. So we'll get in as driver, and it's off, so shouldn't fill up. So it's not filling up. Go and turn it on. Now we go in. You see it filling up. And obviously the same applies if you turn it off again. Turn off. Again, I've got to set it to half. Here we go. And it's not filling up. Okay, I hope that helps. I'll put a link to my Dropbox for the mission, and there'll be a link to my Discord channel where you can go on and put requests in there as well. That's it. Good luck.